Ladies and gentlemen, I am here at the dark side of MMA in Charlotte, North Carolina. All this behind me, that means there's only one time I actually do want to talk to Cornbread. It's right before the MMA fights, the Fight Lab fights that are Saturday, and that means it's prediction time, and I have Cornbread here. You're decked out in the whole Fight Lab apparel.
I got it all, man.
How do we get in, who do we talk to about this whole thing?
Hey, man, we finally added a new member to our team, Randy Watson, and he's doing a phenomenal job with our apparel. He's got me looking good, got me some different colored shirts.
Hold on, aren't I sort of on the Fight Lab payroll now? I don't know if it's official yet.
Yes, you are on the Fight Lab payroll.
So does that mean I can get some gear like this?
No.
That is the most messed up thing.
It took me 5 years to get a blue shirt.
I don't care how long it took you. It should only take me a couple weeks. You're with MMA media
royalty.
Absolutely. So,
hey,
Randy, you have my phone number. Forget about this guy.
Take care of him, Randy.
Please. I'm like wearing, well, I'm in suit and tie, so Saturday, September 13th, Grady Cole Center. If you don't know where that's at by now, because if you're an MMA fan in the Carolinas and you don't know where that's at, shame on you.
Probably don't know.
And need to Google it, because he got some great fights coming up. I think 16 title fights.
Yes.
16.
Six title fights.
2 pro fights, and then you got just all-stars of all-stars and amateurs coming up.
Yes.
So it's going to be a good show, and we've been doing this for the past couple of fights, and we say it all the time. It gets better and better every time. You know, you're just improving. If you weren't at the Cherokee show up at the Harrah's, you missed out on a great show. You missed out on the show before that, you missed out on the great show.
Crazy.
You're going to miss out on this one. There's something wrong with you by now.
You're crazy.
You're just crazy. But we got some great fights coming up. What are you looking forward to before we get into this whole thing?
Well, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is Saturday, September 13th is my daughter's birthday.
There you go.
And so that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. That along with the next day, being able to maybe take her and her friends to Carowinds, spend some time with her. Besides that, though, Fight Lab 40th show, a lot of work to get to 40. I was wondering if we was going to get past 4, and we did. So I'm excited, man. It's a great card. It's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. 6 amateur title fights. Man, I love the amateur title fights. They are what Fight Lab has been made of since the very beginning. That's where we've placed our money in the bank, is on those amateur title bouts. And we got brand new titles coming in for the guys, and man, it's going to be special.
Your daughter can spend her time at the Grady Cole Center with some MMA pound cake.
Yes.
Get it? Ground and pound. I hate you all. Here we go. We're going to start with Adam White. He's at 3-3, going up against Avery Evans of Modern Warrior MMA down in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Yeah.
I think Adam's coming off a couple of fights here. I don't know, as I look at my card real quick, he's coming off a win. They had 2 losses before that. What do you see out of this fight?
You know, I've seen Adam White sparingly.
Yeah.
You know, looks to me like his biggest drawback is probably his physical maturity for the weight class.
Sure.
You know, definitely a bigger man. Not quite what you probably wanted a 205-pounder, but seems to have a big heart and trains with some really good group of guys out there at Salvation MMA.
Absolutely.
And seems to have some pretty good technique from what I saw in his last fight. So I'm looking forward to having him on the card. Avery Evans, what can I say? I mean, he trains with the rock star Keith Richardson, Modern Warrior. Don't really know a lot about him, but I do know that if he's coming from Modern Warrior, he's got to be tough. So you're looking at a debut versus 6 fights.
Yeah.
Usually I'd have to go with 6 fights, but because he's a Modern Warrior, I'm going to go with Avery Evans.
There you go. And Avery was on the card for the showdown in Rock Hill.
And somebody drank a rock star.
Somebody drank a rock star.
Somebody drank a rock
Which is
star.
apropos, which is just surprising right there. Drank a rock star. No, his opponent, of course, drank something. I believe that was a banned substance back in the locker. And unfortunately, he got thrown out. You can't do that.
Yeah.
They're part of the rules. You can't have that sort of substance going through your body before a fight to get your heart all jacked up. And there's been unfortunately some bad consequences to MMA fighters with heart problems.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. And before I begin, these predictions are for competition purposes. This is a competition, not an exhibition, so wagering is encouraged as we continue along with these predictions right here. We take a look at smooth Irving Morel. He's at 2-4. I believe he had 2 losses. His last win was almost a year ago inside the cage. He's taking on Nakia. I'm hoping I pronounce this correctly. This is a new debut, guys. And if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Change it to something easy like Williams or Jones.
Yeah. This is funny because this is a rematch from 2 Saturdays ago. There was the IBJJF Atlanta Open in Atlanta, Georgia, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, and this was a first-round gi matchup that Irving Morel won by decision. And after it was over, Nakia, or Trey, as he likes to be called, his coach reached out to me and said, we want that fight. And so he took the fight. Unfortunately, Irving Morel has not gotten me his eye exam. I'm sure he will, but he's late. You know I hate being late, so therefore I'm going to go with Trey line.
There you go. Guys, just get all that stuff taken care of beforehand. You don't want to upset this guy. He controls a lot of stuff.
Right.
Warfare, Fight Lab, a little bit of Wild Bills.
I try not to control any of them.
And a couple of McDonald's around the Lake Norman area, so don't make him upset about anything. I believe now we're going into the title belt portion of our program. That quick, just like that. We had 2 AMI fights just like that, and now we're doling out belts like this is freaking JC freaking pennies here, just like that. Sears and Roebucks around here, because we got Jordan Weeks coming down from the guys at Murder Squad down there in Columbia, South Cadillac. Oh man, taking on Brandon Davis of Salvation MMA. He's at 3-2. This is right now. This is any other promotion would have a wet dream over this, and here you are. You're not even got good strokes going on right now.
this is the third fight of the night.
Fight in.
This is the third fight, Chaz.
And I apologize who don't understand my joke right there. Kind of nasty. How do you see this one shaping up?
Man, I tell you what.
And Jordan is your title holder, I believe.
Jordan is the champ. Jordan is the champ, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If you had told me 2 years ago that Jordan would be our champion at 170 pounds, I would have told you you're absolutely out of your mind.
Yeah.
But the kid is just a success story. He's he's an upcoming fighter. He is just an absolute warrior. Coming from the Murder Squad, you know what it's going to be. You know when the Murder Squad goes in, it's going down. It's going down. However, there's always however in the title fights. Brandon Davis, Salvation MMA, 6 foot 3 inches tall, I think.
He's tall. He's a tall drink of water.
6 foot tall,
Yeah.
6 foot tall inches, 6'4", 170 pounds. He started at 205. He is a ginormous welterweight.
Yeah.
Very slick jiu-jitsu, training under, I think, dual lineage with Dave Mansell and Team Rock. Very good Muay Thai, heavy-handed, athletic, strong, explosive. And such a great representative of the sport. He is one of the best people you'll meet in the sport of MMA.
I rolled with Brandon.
You rolled with Brandon?
And I was in a pretzel knot. He had to be something. It was like a tapping from.
I've been in a pretzel for the last week.
Well, yeah, you're old.
I mean, I got people here that live to put me in a pretzel. But that's irrelevant. You're breaking my mojo here, dude. You're breaking my mojo. Brandon Davis, Jordan Weeks, Murder Squad, Salvation MMA, 5 foot nothing, 6 foot tall. I'm going with Jordan Weeks. He keeps the belt.
Oh, wow,
I'm going with the heart. I think his heart's going to pull him through.
How can you measure heart in an MMA fight?
If you had seen Jordan Weeks in his first fight and now know that he's the champion with a 6-3 record, that's heart.
I'm just asking.
Let me tell you something. How old is he? How old is Jordan?
He's young. He's a young buck. I can't pull it up fast enough on my phone to say 22.
Let's say 20. We'll give him 22. He's 22 years young. Heart of a lion. But I tell you what, he's in for a war, man. This could go either way. This could go either way.
Brandon's a veteran of the cage with a lot of different promotions. He held still does, I guess, technically with the Elite Championship.
Yes.
So he's a veteran. You got a 7-0 Travis Hollman. Hollywood taking on Marcus Flood at 5-3. Those are 2 guys right there who, like I said, veterans of the cage. Title fights going in. I believe this might be Marcus's first.
Man,
if I'm correct?
Yes, this is Marcus's first shot at the Fight Lab title. He did have a #1 contender bout earlier against Tony Rogers, which he lost. He got caught in the choke up against the fence. This is to crown a new champion. Our actual champion, the Weapon X Jersey Herzog, has moved up to the professional ranks, and now he's passing the belt on to one of two superb athletes. Hollywood Travis Hollman, undefeated, 7-0. He's fought in Warfare. He's fought at Bull City Brawl. He's fought in the Fight Lab cage. Very good jiu-jitsu. He trains down with Neil Weaver and Gerard Miller's his teammate. Down there with a great group of wrestlers, great group of strikers. Their jiu-jitsu's on point. On the other side, you got Marcus Flood. Comes from a traditional background out of Marshall's MMA. His teammate's Trey Singleton, which is funny because Trey Singleton and Gerard Miller's fighting later that night. So we got TFTC fight team versus Marshall's MMA on 2 different title fights. On this one, as much as it pains me, because I like both of them, I got to pick I'm not taking any mulligans on these picks. I'm not doing mulligans on the 40th anniversary. I don't give a damn. The
buck stops right here.
It stops right here. I'm putting my foot down. I got to make a pick. 155-pound title fight, brand new champion, taking the belt, carrying the company into the future. I'm going to go by knockout, your winner, Marcus Flood.
He's saying even by knockout.
By knockout, Marcus Flood.
And I apologize, I'm correcting myself. Marcus has 2 title fights he's been in. He's 0-2 in those title fights. I want to correct myself.
Remember, this is a wagering thing here.
This is wagering. This is important here.
The dude's 0-2 in title fights, and I just picked him. Yeah, pick on whatever. Put your money on whatever I say.
Yeah, why not? You got 2.
What Jason Salvo does. Every time I pick him, he loses.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jason Salvo, you got something. He just commented something on my.
Yeah, he said for me not to pick Nate.
Yeah, you're like the biggest battle of time. Hopefully, let's see what you do with the Chase Callaway fight versus Josh Smith. 2 good guys, small guys running around like they're 2 little mice.
The gnats.
They got muscles, they're fast, they're quick, they're small, about 5'7". They're probably even smaller than you.
How does a gnat have muscles?
A lot of training, a lot of push-ups, and they're like, you're just,
they twisted me up in the pretzel.
Good.
In the last week.
You probably deserve it. You probably doggone deserve it.
In my academy.
Yeah. They got no respect.
No respect.
They're like, F your mat.
I know.
Whatever you teach.
Yeah. F my mat, F me, F my technique, just roll me up in the pretzel. That's how they do me.
Chase comes in. This is his first title fight.
Yes.
This is his 3rd fight. Title fight. Got old Josh Smith at Body Quest down there in Ranlow / Gastonia, North Carolina.
The gas house.
Yeah, the gas house. This is Josh's 2nd title fight. He holds the belt at Caged Chaos. If that means anything to anybody who likes belts, he is the champion.
I like belts, especially plastic ones.
Oh, plastic ones.
Can I say that?
And you just did. I'm not erasing or editing right now, so you said likes the belt. So he's going to earn some real hard, shiny metal material right here. Possibly, with this fight coming up. Tell us, old wise one of local MMA, who do you see out of this fight?
You know what? Here's the deal. I trained with both these guys this week. All kidding aside, these guys are talented. I mean, these are 125-pound balls of fury, and I actually went out on the record probably about 2-3 months ago, and I said, in my opinion, I see Chase Callaway eventually going to the UFC. After training with both of them, I'm totally convinced that either one of these guys, if they stick with the program and they do what they're supposed to do and they listen and they develop, they can be in the UFC at 125 pounds. And if they make a 115-pound division, Josh Smith is a shoe-in. But we're not talking about the UFC. We're not talking about Bellator. We're not talking about 115. We're talking about 125 pounds. September 13th. Doors open at 5:30. Fight starts at 6:30. This is the 5th fight of the night. Chase Callaway wins. Submission, 2nd round.
Smile on his face.
Smile.
I've never seen him scowl. I haven't seen a bad look on the kid. He's always smiling. I guess because he's always winning.
He was smiling when he was twisting me up on the pretzel.
Oh, I would too.
So was Josh.
I would laugh my ass
They were
off
both laughing
the whole damn time.
In fact, that's why I picked Chase, because Josh not only did he smile, but then he looked at me and said, "Thanks, coach."
Oh yeah, I would. F that kid right there.
Yeah, man. I'm tired of these kids.
Probably with cheese in his mouth too.
Why do I have to make these picks? That's going to be such a good fight. I don't know who's going to win.
Sit down and have a beer.
Can I take my pick back?
Nope.
All right, let's move on.
It's already recorded. I'm going to mispronounce these names. It's Tanner Sarano.
I don't know.
It's that one right there.
Yeah.
Versus Trees and
Toner
Gore.
Saraceno.
Doesn't he train with Ricky Fowler?
Jimmy Fowler.
Jimmy Fowler.
The angry
What'd I
midget.
say?
You said Ricky Fowler.
My fault. Jimmy Fowler.
Jimmy
Fowler.
He said it. That's another angry little man.
He is. He doesn't look angry to me.
I know, but he's on top of you and he's subbing you and choking you.
Well,
you want to pretend he's angry. That way you feel good about it.
No, he's not angry.
Okay.
He is not angry. But he trains down there with
Yes.
Jimmy, not Ricky.
He actually trains Tanner Saraceno. This is a very interesting matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Tanner Saraceno trains at the world famous Revolution Fight Team in Greenville, South Carolina, with his head coach Jimmy Fowler, Justin Scoggins, Sarah McMahon, and one of the best welterweights in the country right now that's unsigned, Cody Wilson.
Oh.
So Tanner, not only with his background of being a Division II collegiate wrestler and being a high school state placer and champion up in New York, this kid is coming in with some serious training behind him. On the flip side of that coin, you have Trean Gore.
Yeah.
And Trean Gore, guys, is a ridiculous athlete. And I mean, probably one of the top 10 athletes I've ever seen step in the cage, honestly. He started his training with Josh Williams and Legion MMA down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which by itself right there is phenomenal training. But here recently has been at American Top Team with the likes of Douglas Lima and Diego Lima and Amir Dodovich. I mean, so we've got two highly trained, highly skilled, highly athletic guys getting ready to go, and they're big too. Like, they're taller than me.
Well, just about everybody is on the card, except for the other guys we talked about before this. So, but they can't bring those guys into the cage with them.
That's true. You're right. That's one thing about teammates. They cannot get in the cage with you in MMA, especially at Fight Lab, because we reserve our ass whipping for one person only. And that night, Saturday, September 13th, doors open at 5:30. Fights start at 6:30. This is the sixth fight on the card. Fight Lab Middleweight Championship title fight. Brand new belt coming in from Pro-Am title belts up in Ohio. It's going to be here in a box on September 12th. But on September 13th, somebody's getting their ass whipped. Tanner Saraceno takes the middleweight championship home.
Have you been watching the WWF reruns?
I watch it every Monday night, brother.
God, gee whiz. This is hard.
I watch it every Monday night. I don't miss an episode of Raw. That's why I get twisted up in pretzels by 125 pounders. I try those moves and they like.
No, they're not going to work on those.
I know that don't work.
They're a new class, a new breed, a fighter coming in.
I tried to hit Pacheco with the chair the other day, and he just, for some reason, he didn't stand there like they do in WWE.
Yeah, because it's WWE, and they coordinate everything ahead of time.
It's fake.
We'll talk. We'll have a talk.
What else we got?
We got Nate Kaiser at 3-1 coming against Peter New. Oh my God, I am so pumped for this fight because you got Nate Kaiser. He's a freaking brick wall of a god of athleticism, and muscles and stuff like that.
He's really a pro athlete. I mean,
yeah, the hockey player. He'll hit you with a puck, hit you with your fist, then take you down and bite on you, and then submit you. I don't think he actually bites you, but I like to think.
He might bite you.
He might. Then you got Peter New, who I have absolutely no idea who he is.
Other than he looks like a freak too.
Does he really?
Yes.
It's the freaking natures inside that kid.
Hey man, everyone I've talked to has told me two things. Mm-hmm. Number one, they said that they're excited.
I am.
They're excited about this fight.
I'm telling you right now.
They're excited to be there Saturday when this fight happens.
I got palpitations.
They're excited to be there on Saturday when this fight happens, when the doors open at 5:30 and the show starts at 6:30 on September 13th. Yes. Seventh fight of the night.
Seventh.
Jeez. I'm way out of order. But everybody says they're excited about this fight. Peter New versus Nate Kaiser. Now here's the funny part about it. Nate Kaiser has never stepped in our cage, and anyone thought he was going to lose. Every time he's come into our cage, if they didn't think it before he got there, when he steps in the cage, everyone has always considered him to have the upper hand. This is not the case for some reason. The second thing everybody has told me is that he's going to lose.
Oh, no.
Everyone I've talked to that knows Peter New says Peter New will beat Nate Kaiser this Saturday.
You know Peter New's record right now, it's like I said, 2-1. He beat Chase Callaway his last fight, lost to George Jordan, and then win versus Joshua Ryan. I know one of the three of those guys.
Well, now also Peter New is from Oregon.
Holy cow.
And I've been told I've been told that he has other fights that's not on his record. I've been told that he actually has a record of 6-1.
That's good.
6-1 versus 3-1. When it's Nate Kaiser, Nasty Nate, the enforcer, 3-1 is really 30-1. So therefore, it really evens out if you think about it. My prediction for the night, ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. Nate Kaiser walks back out with that title.
He keeps the title, which he won down at Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg, yeah.
Fort Bragg, a couple of months
he knocked out a big,
I saw that video.
nasty Donnie Johnson, and it was brutal. It was one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen.
I'll see if I can pull that up in the old Chaz Bryant.
Please don't show that, man. That's
archive.
like I don't know if the public are they allowed to watch that stuff.
I'll put a warning on it.
Okay.
A Surgeon General's warning. If you have children in the room, make sure their eyes are covered.
Safety first.
Safety first, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that. You have Trey Singleton. He comes in at 7-2 versus Gerard Miller.
Yep.
I believe out of Garner, the Raleigh area. He's at 9-2. It's been a while since I've seen Gerard. I believe he's had 2 other fights this past year.
Yeah.
In the Fight Lab cage, he's won them. Dos.
Yep, he's undefeated. His last couple runs in the Fight Lab cage, you know, he actually had a title shot, and he lost to Solon Staley, which everybody loses to Solon Staley.
I think I lost to him in checkers one time.
Hats off to the former champion, Solon, from the Murder Squad.
And he's pro now, isn't he?
He's pro, man. He's doing well. And so, you know, Gerard lost to Solon, and he stepped away from Fight Lab for a while. Went and got him some little, you know, lower pressure fights in some other organizations, and then he came back with us. Won 2 fights in a row, and then he went down to Warfare and had an impressive victory down at Warfare, and that made him the #1 contender for the Fight Lab title. And he has a very uphill task in front of him. I would not want to be 145 pounds and an amateur and have to fight Trey Singleton.
Trey's got some impressive wins on his record. Ivan Grahala, you got old Mikey Clark on there. As I scroll down, you got Adam Rosnick on there. You got
Anthony Wright.
Yeah.
I mean, Trey Singleton is a hybrid mixed martial artist that is way beyond his years in maturity. Even though his body has physically matured a lot since when we first saw him when he was 18 and first stepped into the amateur MMA ranks here at Fight Lab, he looked like a little kid coming down to the cage. I say it all the time. Now you can see his body; it's starting to fill out. His legs are bigger, his arms are bigger, his chest is bigger. He trains here when he's going to school at UNC Charlotte, and he's in here with some of the top guys in the Southeast, if not the country, and he can handle anyone, whether it's on the ground. His takedown defense is ridiculous. His jiu-jitsu is ridiculous. His striking is out of this world. He is not the person you want to strike with. He can hit hard with both hands. He can kick well with both legs. He'll kill your legs with leg kicks. He's a very smart fighter. If anybody could beat him, I would say it would be Gerard. Gerard can beat anybody. He's a very talented wrestler and a very talented striker, and he comes from that TFTC team down there with Travis Hollman. Unfortunately, 2 bouts, TFTC versus Marshall's MMA. I picked Marcus Flood in the first one. I don't see anyone in the region beating Trey Singleton, and I don't see it happening Saturday either, so I got to go with Trey.
And what does Gerard have to do to capitalize on some of the mistakes that Trey might make?
He has to put Trey up against the fence. That fight will not be won standing out in the middle of the cage with Trey Singleton. It's just he is too fast. He creates too great angles. His leg kicks, and again, like I said, he hits hard. You got to put him up against the cage. You got to wear him down. The one weakness I've seen in Trey's game has always been his cardio, especially with him being a full-time student. And so you got to be able to take advantage of that. Anthony Wright had the right game plan, seemed to be, but even when he tried to execute it, he just couldn't. The kid is growing into a man, and I mean, he's difficult to deal with.
And seeing how they're both veterans, how have you seen Gerard mature since maybe the beginning of the year to where he's at right now as far as getting the fight?
You know, with Gerard's a mystery to me. I'm not going to lie. His nickname should be the Enigma because I can't figure him out. Most people don't know Gerard. I knew him when he was in high school when he wrestled for Fear Quave Arena. Very talented wrestler. Very rarely do you see him implement that wrestling.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing for learning. It really is. It's a good thing to see a wrestler not go out there and not just try to duck his head down and take advantage of the rules where you can't head kick in either head and just shoot in doubles. We see it all the time.
Sure.
And we see amateurs do that, and they take advantage of the rules, and they wrestle. They run up 7, 8 wins. They win titles. Then they turn pro, and they stink.
Yeah.
Okay? And credit to Gerard for trying to go in that opposite direction. But at the end of the day, I've noticed sometimes when he needs to rely back on that wrestling, it seems to me like he pulls the trigger just a hair too late. In the fight with John Henning, he was that close to losing. Yeah. If he hadn't have made up his mind and forced the issue of the takedowns, or if John Henning had smelled some dirty wrestling shoes, like the day before he went out there, there's a good chance John would have won that fight. Gerard waited way too long, in my opinion, to pull the trigger on it, and it almost cost him the bout. And if he had lost, he wouldn't be here right now. If he does that against Trey Singleton, if he doesn't implement his wrestling and put him up against the cage and grind on him, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem, and then it's going to end badly, just like the Anthony Wright fight. It's going to end hard for him.
We're sort of running short on time because I see the battery indicator is getting low. So we got 2 pro fights coming up. We got Alan Greenway at 2 and 3 versus Nicholas Belshire at 3 and 13, and maybe a case of the Virginia records, if I'm correct, if he's fought in Virginia. Or maybe I'm just making.
He's actually 5 and 5.
5 and 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the hell's going on with my thing, but you have Alan Greenway taking on Nick Belshire. What do you see out of this fight?
Hey man, everybody wants to see the Hedgehog lose, and there's nothing more entertaining than having the Hedgehog come on the card. And if Hedgehog gets a win, then it just builds up for the next card, and everybody wants to see him lose again. Nick Belshire, tough opponent, very experienced. He's a veteran of the sport. He comes from Virginia, down from round 30, same school as Noe Quintanilla. He's been training with Noe Quintanilla. There's no secret. The Hedgehog just took Noe Quintanilla out at the last Fight Lab, and I'm sure Nick Belshire wants some revenge. Unfortunately for Nick, I don't think it's going to happen on September 13th when the doors open at 5:30 and the fight start at 6:30 on September 13th in the co-main event. Alan Greenway is going to beat round 30 again.
Was it Bobby the Brain Heenan? Is that the guy's name from the old WWE?
Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan used to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hulk Hogan will not beat Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 1. I promise you.
WrestleMania 1? Was that 1987? Holy cow. All right, moving on to the last pro fight of the card. It is Cody Wilson coming from Revolution down there. With
Revolution Fight Team.
Revolution Fight Team. He's at 5 and 1, taking on Portland Pringle the third, if I'm correct. He's at 6 and 1. I have no idea who Portland Pringle is. Please tell us, give us a quick.
Portland Pringle is a bad man.
Gotcha.
Trust me. Very explosive, ridiculous striking, Gracie Baja Jiu-Jitsu, top tier athlete, trains down at Four Seasons Martial Art, actually where the heartthrob Josh Clark is on the Ultimate Fighter, and that little, what was that little redneck's name? Jeannie Browning? Yeah, Jeannie Browning. That's where it's from, Four Seasons Martial Arts, I believe. Portland Pringle's a stud, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming in here. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got a point to prove. He's made a habit of going into enemy territory. He just did it down in Tennessee, and he walked out the victor. UFC, Bellator, you want to watch this fight. These are two of the top unsigned professional MMA fighters in the welterweight division. 5 and 1 Cody Wilson. I don't even remember what Portland Pringle was. It 9 and 4?
Something.
Yeah, 9 and 4 as a professional. This guy is ridiculous. Cody Wilson, crazy striking, tough chin, awesome angles, ridiculous jiu-jitsu. Trains with some of the best in the Southeast. Sarah McMahon, Justin Scoggins, Tanner Saraceno that's fighting on our card. Yeah. Trent Goodall, former Iowa 125-pound wrestler. I mean, that school is stacked with some of the best fighters and athletes that MMA can bring together. But he's got to deal with Portland Pringle. And Portland Pringle, like I said, has been known to walk into enemy territory. But he's never walked in on September the 13th when the doors open at 5:30 and the fight start at 6:30 in the main event against Cody Wilson, who's undefeated in the Fight Lab cage at 5 and 0. Portland Pringle's in trouble. Cody Wilson walks out the victor.
And it's Jimmy Fowler. The reason I was thinking of Ricky Fowler is because his garb. The garb, the hat.
Do I look like Tiger Woods in this? I was just looking at myself. I think I sort of like a darker version of Tiger.
And they very shorter.
Wait a minute. I just got married. I do not want any association with Tiger Woods. Never mind. Scratch the Tiger Woods. Make sure you edit that out, all right?
No, I'm keeping it in. Because what I want to say is, everybody's going to ask, when the fights? I didn't know when the fights were. When's the fights, Brett? How much the fight? It's Saturday, September 13th,
Doors open at
5:30,
first fight starts at,
6:30.
and there are how many fights?
A lot. I can't remember. 2 pro fights, 6 title fights, and then 2 amateur fights, and that's math. So that's 8, 10 fights.
We're doing good, man.
Holy Jesus Christ! Thank you.
We're about as smart as the rock star and Kenny Lance.
Oh man, that's terrible. And I'm drinking at that too.
That's great.
Drinking that night. I don't think there's any. Google the Grady Cole Center, because everybody's gonna ask, where is it? It's just right outside of Uptown. It's in the middle of Central Carolina. If you know where that's at, go there. Google this stuff. You want to get tickets? You're almost too damn late, but get them for your favorite fighters. Or can you get them online?
You go to www.fightlabpros.com. Also, make sure you text the number 90210. Text that number and text the word Fight Lab to 90210. You can get ticketing information, event information. You can see the bout card. You can get all the information on each one of your favorite fighters. It'll tell you their height, their weight, their color of the underwear, and their record. It's going to be great. September 13th, this Saturday, 5:30, doors open, 6:30 fights start. It's going to be off the chain. That's all I got. What you got?
Randy, I want a shirt.
Get Chaz a shirt.
Please.
Thank you, guys.